Hey everybody, I know I've kind of had you waiting for a while, and I promised this video a while back, and I'm finally getting around to making a video for it. This isn't the video I intended to make. The video I intended to make has the guitar parts broken down, all the arpeggiated notes, the sort of broken the stuff, all that stuff. This video is not going to have that. This is going to be an easy campfire strummy version of it that has your pinky and ring finger sitting on the 3rd fret the whole time, while your pointer and middle fingers are going to be handling the changes. So this will be like I said, single guitar, easy campfire, which you could build other guitar parts around and do this way if you prefer, you know. So it's kind of giving you some flexibility in your approach to the song. And even if your ability is limited, this is probably a good quote-unquote beginner's way to learn this song, versus trying to take on, not that a beginner couldn't take on learning the multi-guitar part version, but this is sort of, if you're by yourself, you don't play in a band regularly, this is a way to be able to access the song without needing a group behind you to do it. So here we go. There's there's 4 counts that come in. There's like a drum machine that plays, or a metronome even, that plays for 4 counts before the song starts. You could do some kind of click with your tongue in your mouth or something, or the band could do something. You could find some way to get those 4 beats in there if you wanted to, if you care about even putting that in there. So, okay, so that's kind of an easy strum way to do it. I think if you want to do it more towards the record, it's all down strums. There's no up sweeps like I'm doing. So if you're, you know, depending on your level of anal attention span or attention to detail, then, you know, variate your strumming pattern however you prefer. Whether more so like the record or with my sort of upsweep easy version that's less like the record. So, all right, the C second with no third. Technically, I am going to play a C major 9th, which those notes consist of this. And technically, but if I do want to do anything towards taking out the third, then what I can do is, while I'm pressing down the 5th string or A string on the 3rd fret, is I can have my finger also kind of bend over and touch the D string or 4th string down below it while I'm pressing to mute it. So that'll sound like this. And then there's that C note out of that A string. And then it muted, and when you strum it all together, you don't hear that harsh muted string as much. It seems to come out pretty clean. So it would sound like this. And that's using the actual strumming pattern from the recording, or the upsweep version I do that's a little easier is, at least either one they both sound pretty close to the recording. So like I said, if you're that anal about it, which I can be, obviously, because here I am being that way, there you go. And attention to notes being cut out and notes being left. And I mean, it really, if you press down your D string or 4th string on the 2nd fret and you press it and you play that all together, you get just a little bit richer sound, and it doesn't hurt anything. So it's okay to do that either way. Only people who really study music and are listening to you play are going to notice that. The general listener who just the most you know, musical ability they have is turning their stereo on and off will not. So don't freak out. Just have fun. Try to have fun. Find the fun. So there's our C second no third variations. Here's our G. Okay, our G in our easy to play way is, technically it's G add 9 instead of just a straight major. And we do that C second no third with the G 3 times. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I've got a chart you can print off. You go to the video description below. There is a Google Doc link you can click on and print your own copy of this chart right here for yourself and for other people for that. So there we go. We see that our C and G chords happen about 3 times. There's our 4 beat count in our drum machine. Then there's 1 time, 2 times, and 3 times before we move on to an A minor 7, a G, a D with F sharp in the bass, and an A7 suspended. So there's all that. Let me give you what the A minor 7 can be with this easy strumming pattern. It would sound like this. Like that. And what I also do is I reach up with my middle finger and just touch. I don't press down, I just touch the 6th string or E string on the 3rd fret, so it's muted. So as I'm going, no, you don't hear it, and it's not going. So it's just a cleaner way to play the chord to make sure that your root note, which is supposed to be an A, really is, instead of it being a low E note. So it actually doesn't sound disharmonious. You could, but if you're a little bit more anal about your playing your chords right, there you go. So do it that way. Other than that, we have once again, these fingers are staying there, they're not moving, like they're not going to do through the whole song. So if you have tender fingers after this song, that's understandable. So it's I'm using my pointer to press down on the 4th string on the 2nd fret. And then for the D/F sharp, D with F sharp in the bass, I'm going you could leave that A string open, I suppose. But once again, as I'm pressing down my 6th string, I'm letting my finger also rest on that 5th string to mute it. I think it's supposed to keep the chord, once again, it's keeping the chord cleaner. So this is a simple version, but it's once the fingerings, if you're not used to fingering those kind of things and muting strings and things for the sake of musical accuracy, then that'll be something you'll start to get used to by learning this song. Okay, then our A7 suspended is the same thing. The same thing I did for the A minor 7th is the same thing I'm doing for the A7 suspended. Like I'm saying, this method of playing this song, it's a lot like the way I do my Love Song for Savior video. Sort of the simplified way to strum the chords using standard tuning. You can check out that video on my channel too. Is sort of the same method I'm employing to play this song, and it seems to work well. So here we go. So yeah, so for your A minor 7th and A7 suspended, that's what you want to use. That then you kind of have to get used to, if you're not used to doing those like strumming and muting, that's another thing you're going to work on. It's just I let my whole hand hit all 6 strings. Let's see here. So you can kind of see how my hand is resting on all 6 strings to shut them up. There's a little bit of a ring that has like a you hearing. Again, unless the people who are like as anal as I am about their playing would notice it, and even people who are during a song while it's happening probably may not even care. They're going to be more about enjoying the song than meticulously going over the technical details at that point, hopefully. They're more about enjoying the song than they are about grading it. So, but if we're trying to get it clean and well, that's why we're going over all this stuff. All right, verse 1. Let's get to verse 1 now that we're 10 minutes in. Verse 1. We're pretty much doing what we did on the intro. It even has the same chords going on in it. You have that D with F sharp in the bass, and the A7 suspended. So we're playing shapes that we've already learned, and now we're going to make ourselves sing while we do it. So if we want to sing and play, this is a decent long road. Once you get the chords down and things like this, you should be able to sing this song along while playing a little more easily than you are if you're trying to play arpeggiated stuff and do sort of quote-unquote fancier movements while you're doing it. This should make that job a little bit easier to handle. Okay, tonight it's time. Let me sing and play. Let me prove to you what I'm talking about. Tonight it's time to choose a direction. If you fail, you can make a correction. So now, fading light faster, make your mind. And for once this time, it's a... Sorry, I tripped on that A7 suspended. And then we go into our first chorus. And since I've kind of broken down how to play most of the chords, I'm not gonna, unless something new and weird comes up, which I think we pretty much covered most of the chords already that are in the song, I'll explain it. First chorus, there is a C major 7. So what we can do is what we're doing, the same thing we're doing for our C second, no third, is this. We can just, and of course we're muting that 4th string, D string, while we play. So we can do the same shape that we do for our C second as the same as we're doing for our C major 7. Let's take a look real quick at the chords happening there. There's C major 7, G, D, E minor, C major 7, G, D, E minor, A7, C, A7, C, and that last C chord's getting 8 counts, so I indicated that. The slight pause, and then going into what sounds like sort of that first interlude, which is pretty much a repeat of how the intro chords are played. So let's do that. It's hard to know where I'm supposed to go. It's hard, so hard to know where I'm supposed to go tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the first interlude again. So we're back to our go into a second verse. So, the E minor, I think that's the next chord. Yeah, we haven't played an E minor chord yet. The way that I'm doing an E minor here is technically an E minor added 9th. Or it could, I'm not even sure it's considered an E minor 7th add 9, maybe, if it's everything that I'm playing. So instead of an E minor, or even an E minor 7, I'm doing a there. And again, that's holding to my rule of leaving my ring finger and pinky on the 3rd frets at all times, never moving throughout the entire song. So, what was something else felt new while I was playing? Let's see. It's hard to know. The D chord. The D chord. This is not a D with a F sharp in the bass. This is a D, so there's a different approach to playing that. Technically, we're playing a D suspended. The D would be, but again, our rule. So what I'm doing for that chord, everything that's happening finger-wise is those two fingers are down. My pointer finger is going on the 3rd string or G string on the 2nd fret. What I'm doing that's special and what makes this chord work and make sure that the D is the root note and not an A or an E is resting my middle finger between the A and E string to mute them. Like that. And while I press down, I get this. Like that. That's what makes that chord special. That's what makes it flow well. So I'm doing my, it's hard to know where I'm supposed to go. There is. Okay, now if I'm making sure to mute my 4th string, it should sound like that. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm singing something that I shouldn't be singing yet. Sorry, that's not in the first chorus. That's in the end. It happens later. Sorry. So I apologize. So, to know where I'm... Okay, get that angle right. To know where I'm supposed to go tonight. Whoops. Whoops. There you go. There is that. Let's move on. The second verse is pretty much word for word. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is word for word a repeat of the first verse. Chord progression is the same. The words are the same. So there's nothing new to teach there. We've already done it. Our second chorus, let's see. Just go. Tonight. Big difference there is probably that C chord only gets 4 counts. That very last C chord at the end only see a 1, 2, 3, 4 is only once instead of twice. And then we moved on to what I call the bridge and the bridge and 3rd verse part. I had to give it a label, so that's what I gave it to make it distinguishable from everything else. And then we move into some other chords that we'll discuss. I guess I'm not going to discuss the second chorus since I already kind of talked about it in the first. So we'll move on to the bridge and verse. We can see all of that. Okay, and especially if you're on a nice big flat screen TV, you can especially see it well. We have an E minor 7. So like what I explained for the E minor, where was it? In the first chorus, you're sort of, like I said, the E minor 7th added 9 shape, again, because of the rule of the pinky and the ring staying on the B and E strings. That'll be the same shape we're going to use for that E minor 7th. And like again, that's for the sake of simplicity, for keeping it easy. Looks like we got a D/F sharp, which we've already learned, a G second. That chord, only thing you can do, or only thing I know to do, if you really want to get that second note in there to make it sound more like a true G second chord, is to do this. Is that. So I'm doing everything I do for a G chord. The G major chord, the quote-unquote G major chord I've been doing this. For this G second shape, what I do is I'm pressing down my 6th, I'm muting my 5th, like I did before, and then I'm pressing down my G string on the 2nd fret, Okay, I didn't say it like I did before. I was not doing that before. I'm sorry. I just caught myself. I'm doing that. Plus I'm pressing down the G string on the 2nd fret. So that's the A string's muted. And then I strum. And I check all my notes that way to make sure I got it. And there's your, that way you can actually play the suggested G2 chord correctly. More so. Gosh, is it a G2 added 9? I don't know. I'm not a chord theory expert, but anyway, there you go. So there's that. I should give you how to play the bridge and the verse, so you kind of hear it in action. Okay. Tonight I'm gonna let it go and try to let it be, because I know you'll see that it's hard. That it's hard to know where I'm supposed to go, but there is no way, and tomorrow is a brand new day. Yes, it's hard to know where I'm supposed to go, but there is no way, and tomorrow is a brand new day. And that's it. That's the song. Okay, the video is 23 minutes long, so I'm hoping it's thorough enough. I'm hoping it is, because I feel like it. I thought this was going to be like an 8 or 7 minute video, and it's not. It's turned into an almost 30-hour video, or 30-minute video. So gosh, imagine how that when I figure out how to play all the different guitar parts, how long that. It's probably going to do like guitar part 1, guitar part 2, guitar part 3 for those, because otherwise that'll be a 3-hour long video for sure. That no one will watch. But this is your simple acoustic version. If you have somebody who can kind of play the lead parts in there, there's definitely some effects going on to pay attention to, and to make it. I mean, it sounds cool with all the stuff going on in it. It is. Like Lee's voice is like multi-tracked and harmonized. I mean, they really built up the song. It's a good kickoff. That's what gives it that good kickoff feel, and that's what makes it worthy of being like the first or second track on the record. So yeah. But yeah, I think I've rambled along enough on this. I hope this video is good. Please comment if it isn't. If it isn't, I will leave this old less than perfect video up. I took down my overjoyed video for Jars of Clay, and it had like 2,500 views, and the new video has like less than 50. So if I annoyed people by doing that, I apologize. I didn't mean to make that song, but there's a 2-point video up for Overjoyed, so go to that. It's better than the old one. And now I'll shut up because we're approaching the 25-minute mark. Thanks so much for watching. Again, comment, check out my Patreon. If you could donate $1 a month, all my 125 subscribers I have, that would be $125 I could use to help me make these videos and just make my life a little easier. It's only $1 a month, so hey, I'll be honest, most people can do that if they just set it up so their credit card or whatever automatically pays me $1 a month. Anyway, that would also be encouraging to see people actually paying for what I'm doing here. Thanks a lot. See you next time.